So this video is going to be what I would do to go from 260 pounds to 220 pounds. This video kind of goes hand in hand with my other video on cutting. It's going to be some of the same stuff, but there's also some new additions. I got requested to make this video by one of my friends, so I hope you enjoy it and everyone else who wants to watch it will also like it. So I've got 8 different tips. Each of them I color coded, so I'm just going to write them in that color. Hopefully to make it a little bit easier, so if you get to the end of the video you can just pause, read each color, each section by itself. So the first, number 1 for the simple tips for cutting is going to be a 500 calorie deficit. So step 1, find your TDEE. Right, so that finds your calories to maintain your weight. Alright, so let's say I'm at 2,500. If you're 260, it's going to be a bit higher than this, so just go into the calculator, find it. So for this example, 2,500, you subtract 500. Right, this 500 number is very important because, that is 500 calories per day. Day is the equivalent to a pound a week, right? So it's kind of the sweet spot for most people because it is slow enough to where you can keep all the muscle you have, and it also just doesn't crash your energy too much. So that's why that 500 is like the magic number, right? And if you go over on one day, just take them off the next day, or just don't worry about it too much because it's not the end of the world. So you find your TDE, you subtract 500, and that gives you your new number, and this is how you lose, a pound a week. Your 500 calorie deficit. That is one of the most important parts just for losing weight in general. Okay, so now our second step is going to be getting steps instead of cardio. Alright, so the first step for this section is going to be, if you go to the gym, right, hitting your workout is the most important in my opinion, and then you can put cardio and steps on top of it. But for this video I'm going to be prioritizing steps because cardio is more taxing on your body, right? If you're elevated, yes, you're going to burn more calories, but there's also the muscle damage and all that stuff. So your first goal, aim for 10,000 steps every day, right? So this goal might seem really, really high. And if it is super high, you can track it on your health app through your phone if you have an iPhone. And it gives you an estimate. Obviously, it's not going to be 100% accurate. I don't hit 10,000 every day, but I'm aiming to get that. I might only get 8,000, but 8,000 is better than 2,000. So just try to add 1,000 to what you have now. Do that for a week, and then maybe go up 1,000 more. Alright, so you could start off with, just ramp it up over time. So if you can hit 10,000 steps every day, then I would say add cardio if you want, just to make it go slightly faster, right? And if you're gonna add cardio, I would just do a treadmill, maybe a Stairmaster, but I hate the Stairmaster, so I'm never gonna do that. Right? So by doing this, you're keeping your activity level high without overdoing it, ending up exhausted, and it won't hurt your recovery at all. So 10,000 steps a day is pretty easy, so we'll draw a little smiley face. Cardio is kind of a frowny face. It's pretty hard, no one really likes it, blah 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 blah, whatever, you get it. Okay, so now the first step for sleep. Sleep is super, super, super important. So it's really underrated during a cut, right? So if you're sleeping less than 7 hours, I'd say, your hunger hormones increase, and then just recovery gets worse, right? So why would you want to be more hungry with worse recovery? It's just gonna make everything harder. Like you're like 5 hours of sleep is like playing on hard mode or whatever. So you know, 8 hours is what you should aim for. 7.5 is okay. There's different supplements you can take. Melatonin, that just helps you fall asleep. So if you like to scroll or whatever, maybe try taking that. But scrolling, get off your phone. I'm making this video. I'm on my computer. It's not much better, but I took my melatonin. I took magnesium glycinate, which also helps you sleep. This is the order I would go in, switch 2 and 3. So first, get your 8 hours. Then get off your phone before bed, like 30 minutes to an hour before bed, right? And then I would maybe add melatonin, and then you can add other supplements to help you fall asleep. But obviously, just your normal 8 hours of sleep is the most important. It will give you the most bang for your buck, to say. Let me expand this a little bit. So we're going to go back over here. So number 4, carbs, right? Carbs are your best friend. I said that in my last video. So the first step for carbs, right? You need to be having carbs before your workouts. So I like to get 100 grams. And if you're 260 pounds, 100 grams will be, that'll fit easy into your daily allowance of calories. 100 grams before for B, and then also 100 grams A for after. Right, so you got carbs before your workout, carbs after your workout. And then you might be thinking, what do you do on rest day? Just eat your carbs throughout the day. Eat them with all your meals. Yeah, there's not really much else. Carbs and all your nutrients are very important before and after your workout, so I'd put most of my eating with my workout. I'm trying to think if there's another step to carbs, but it really is simple. Just eat them. Eat a lot of them before and right after you train. You will thank me. I can make this. I've already made a video on that. Never mind. I don't need to make another one. So now we're gonna have maximizing bites. This is a very underrated tip, and I just kind of learned about it recently, so I thought I would share it with you. So let's say I'm gonna have a bowl of yogurt. Right, yogurt's pretty low calorie, high in protein, and there's some carbs in there, so it's pretty good. Yogurt, let's say 90 calories, 15 grams of protein, and we don't care about the carbs in this case, right? So if I'm gonna have that, let's say I have 2 of them, right? So 2 kind of cups of yogurt, or it's a cup and a half of yogurt if you were to have 2 of them that are 90 calories, probably. Right, so you have a set amount of bites in that. Let's say you have like 15 bites for 2 containers of yogurt, right? So let's say, oh, I want more protein in there, so I add protein powder, right? Sure, there's more protein, but are you ever going to get like just full off of protein powder that you add to yogurt? No. You want to, like, if you want the same amount of protein, just add more yogurt. Add whatever, Try to get as many bites as you can, because those bites will make you feel more full. That's helped me out quite a bit. And then also just avoiding like crazy calorie dense foods. And that is sometimes very hard to do. Doritos, not the best thing to be eating on a cut, and I have learned that very well. Okay, now number 6. This is fairly well known, I think. So diet soda. What does it do? The carbonation and just the whole thing. It's like sweet, whatever, kind of curbs your appetite, right? So you're not as hungry. So let's say I have my breakfast in the day, and then I get like just a little bit hungry. I'm just gonna chug a diet soda, and I will not feel like eating, at least for a little bit longer, so it just buys me more time. So I can have that, and then I can have a meal. Basically, like, instead of like snacks or whatever, I just have diet soda, and then also adding gum. I have gum while I'm working because I usually like get hungry while I'm doing schoolwork or at my job. Um, just eat a piece of gum, the flavor makes your brain think, oh, I'm not so hungry because I'm eating something right now, kind of, that kind of deal. Um, yeah, I mean, it feels like it lowers your hunger. It doesn't really, but it feels like it. And that's all that matters. Okay, next. Caffeine. This is where stuff can get bad. But I'm going to show you how to do it right so you don't even have to worry about it. So there's different things. Caffeine. So we'll start off with like energy drinks. Right? So this is kind of similar to diet soda, right? You get the carbonation. It's bigger than a diet soda, just like in a standard can or whatever, so you get more, but then, so basically, carbonated plus caffeine. And what caffeine does is that actually does curb your appetite. Right, so carbonated drink plus caffeine equals actually not hungry. So, you can have an energy drink. Sorry, I'm just gonna give myself a little more room to write. So, this energy drink is very, very, very underrated. So, let's say you have one, right? And then you're so hungry. This is when I would save it for later when you're, down closer to 220 from 260, like in the 230s maybe. You've already lost 30 pounds, your calories have dropped quite a bit from what they used to be. Um, you just really don't want to overdo it because having tons of caffeine every day is going to make your tolerance go up, so then you're going to have more, and then that leads to sleep, which we already talked about being really important. So you don't want to disrupt your sleep to suppress your appetite a little bit, right? So you want like low caffeine versus high caffeine. This is good. And then you can raise it up a little bit and a little bit more and maybe a little bit more. I wouldn't go above 2 energy drinks a day, and then every so often just stop doing it. Stop drinking energy drinks or pre-workout, whatever, to lower the tolerance back down, so then it'll become a useful tool again. I forgot what else was on the list. Okay, what do we have? Okay, last but not least, this is really important. Understanding the timeline of this process. Right? You can do all these tips, that'll be great, but you have to understand the timeline. So you need to know that fat loss takes time, right? It's not an overnight process. It takes time. As I said before, you're 500 calories per day, so you can maintain all your muscle you have and lose fat in a sustainable way. That's going to be 1 pound per week. 1 week. Right? And that seems really slow, but you will notice a difference really quick, I think. So if you want to lose 12 pounds, how long would that take? 3 months. And a lot of people, including myself, have quit early because they you just expect the results too fast, right? But that's just not how it works. It'll take a long time, but it will be so worth it, right? So let's see, to go from 260 to 220 and, do it optimally, whatever, maintain as much muscle, and like do this in a healthy way. Basically, it's going to take 40 weeks, right? It's close to a year. It seems like it's forever, but it'll fly by, don't worry. And there's ways you could speed it up, like 35 weeks, whatever. Do a little bit more cardio, get more steps, do a 600 calorie deficit. I just suggested 500 because I think that's what's worked for me really well. And I didn't go from 260 to 220, but I went from, well, when I started this cut, like actually a real cut and locked in that way, what was I? I think 195, and now I'm 182. It's been about just over 3 months, January, February, and now into March, 2.5, 3 months. It doesn't feel like it's that long, and I actually can notice some results right now. So just really, really, really just stick with it. And if you aren't seeing progress on the scale, you'll be seeing it in the mirror, hopefully, if you're doing it right. And that's how you'll know. You'll know right away if you're doing it right. Yes, if there's any questions and you somehow made it this far, comment, let me know. Any video ideas, anything, let me know. And if you made it this far, you can see that I have bald maxed to raise my test by 10,000%.